Speaking of Republicans that are foolhardy, I love this next story. Talk about letting them have at it. Go, come on, please. You know what the Republicans are against now? Obama's cap on executive pay. You know, he said, if you take TARP money, taxpayer bailout money, you cannot pay your executives more than $500,000. And now that's going forward. That's not even going backward, right? And now most of the Republicans are saying, well, I don't know. That doesn't sound like a good idea. We really have to protect those executives. Oh, what a terrible political mistake. Please make that mistake. And they're saying it publicly now. Now, not all of them. Surprisingly, Brownback's not on board for it. And there's Orrin Hatch, Lugar, etc. And Coburn's kind of in the middle. They're not sold that this is a smart thing to do politically. But almost all of the rest of the Republicans, when asked, Kyle, etc., and McCain wouldn't answer. McCain and McConnell wouldn't answer. But that leaves about 30-some-odd Republicans, the great majority of them, saying, oh, yeah, what's happening to the CEOs is outrageous. I can't believe we're capping their pay. That's against capitalism. They are really going to make that case to the American people? Man, that's full mental. That's not half mental. That's full mental. One, it doesn't make any sense. Two, it's terrible politics. And three, they're dead wrong. Look, here's how capitalism works. If you invest in a company, you get to make the rules, especially if that company is desperate and about to go bankrupt and takes your money. You have all the power and the leverage. So can you set limits on executive compensation if you're a normal investor that is bailing out a company? Of course you can. You know that the Young Turks, we have investors. And you know what they've done? They've capped my pay. I'm not kidding. They kept it a hell of a lot lower than the Obama did with the CEOs on Wall Street. Understandably so. So what, that's not capitalist? No, it's part and parcel of being capitalist. These Republicans have no idea what capitalism is. They're like, well, I think we really need to give the taxpayer money over to all these CEOs and then never question them or let them make as much money as they can off the back of the taxpayers. I think that's capitalism. No, it's not. That's being called that's being a sucker if you're the taxpayer. But if you're Republicans, they're not suckers. They know what the deal is. Those guys pay them, man. They pay their bills. They give money to them. And those are the guys, the Chamber of Commerce, the business lobby, and some of the specific CEOs, etc. They're the ones that put campaign contribution in the Republican coffers. But look, they're playing with fire here. Because the amount of money you're going to get from these guys is not going to make the public scorn you're going to suffer worth it. I don't think so at all. And now here's a quick sense that they are beginning to understand that. First, a great report by Ryan Grimm from the Huffington Post. He went out and reached out to a lot of these Republicans and got them on the record. And he called John Thune, Republican of South Dakota, and John Thune was like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like a capitalist thing to do. I got some issues with it. We should let the CEOs make a lot of money. And then he says, oh, okay, let's go. Thank you. Gets a call back from John Thune 15 minutes later. Thune's like, yeah, did I say that? Can we just kind of backpedal from that? Backpedal. He's like, yeah. No. Maybe it's not such a bad idea. I'm beginning to think that President Obama might have a good point there. You know what happened in that 15 minutes? They had a little meeting, and his political advisors said, what are you, nuts? This is the most popular thing Obama's done, and the least popular thing you could possibly do is support the CEOs that lost all that money. He's like, oh, yeah. Now, one more thing about my old friends, the Republicans, on the CEO pay issue that I think is a really interesting point. We cap payments for welfare recipients. So if you're receiving welfare from the government, we do two things. If you take it for some time, we cap it for you, and so you can't take anymore. The second thing we do is we intrude into your lives, as the Republicans are complaining about with the CEOs and the businesses. They say, we're intruding into their business. What are we going to do next? Tell them, where they should put their factories or their offices? I can't believe we're intruding into their lives. Now, when we give welfare to poor people, we say, hey, you got to do drug tests every once in a while. You have to fill out questionnaires and form after form telling us how much you worked, and sometimes broken up by 15-minute intervals. Your boss has to sign off on it, etc. So why don't we do that for the largest welfare recipients in the country, in the world? These giant financial institutions and banks that are taking a hell of a lot more money than any poor people ever took. Why can't we cap their pay? Why can't we put restrictions on the way they take that money? And I would love the CEOs to fill out their timesheets. I do want to know how they spend their week. In fact, how they spend their week is a hell of a lot more relevant than how a person who's barely getting by and needs welfare spends their weeks. Why don't the rules make sense for both of them? When you tell the Republicans that, they go, wait a minute, but that's not quite fair. These are captains of industry. They're CEOs. No, we can't interfere. That would be against capitalism. But poor people, yeah, of course, they're poor. We get into their lives all the time. Different rules. Like I said, some few Republicans have caught on to the fact that that doesn't make much sense. Surprisingly, one of them is Sam Brownback from Kansas, and he says, yeah, that's a fair analogy, and I think you make a good point. So there you have it. I wish more of them would be principled like that.